What's up nail friends? In this video I'm going to be doing a full set showing you guys a transformation of my client's nails doing this stunning rose quartz design. So let's get started. So I'm just going to go over what I did for prep quickly. And you guys can skip ahead. I will leave that on the bottom here if you're not interested in that and you're just interested in the design. So first I start with pushing back the skin on her nails. You can see her nails are really thin right now and weak. She had acrylics on and then had them removed somewhere, and she just has some thin ass weak nails here. So I'm gonna be really careful. I'm just pushing back gently, scraping the nail plate gently, trying to pick up that cuticle off the plate to make it a little bit easier for filing off. So I switched here to a diamond bit, and this is a cuticle bit, and I'm just going around the skin, removing the cuticle off her nail plate. To get more of the cuticle off, I've switched to a diamond football tool. It's got like a little pointy end here, and I'm going from, so I've reversed my e-file and I'm going down her right side first. You can see some of that cuticle coming up, some stuff that I missed. So if you apply on the stuff you missed there, you'll probably get lifting. So that's why I go around with this tool. And you just want to be very gentle. You don't want to stab her with the pointy end. You just want to go around the side, and then I reversed it again, and now it's going forward, and I'm going down her left side as well. Then I've switched my tool. I don't know what this one's called, but I just use this to kind of push the skin out of the way, just so there's nothing on the nail that's going to get in the way of my application. So this just kind of helps smooth out the cuticle area and remove any extra dead skin that's there. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove the shine off her nails before application. And I'm just using a 180 grit file on that side. And you're gonna wanna make sure to dust off the nails really well. And because her nails were in poor shape, I didn't wanna sculpt and shove a form underneath her nail. So I'm gonna use tips. I'm gonna use the Glitterbell stiletto tips, and I'm gonna glue them on with the base glue. So to do that, I size all the tips to her fingers and file them to the shape that I want. And then I apply my glue on the tips and put them down. And then I go back to the first tip and I glue it on her nail. And that way it gives the glue a little bit time to dry before you put it on the nail, so you don't have to hold it down as long. And then I just apply this on the very tip of her nails. After that, I'm going to now dehydrate and prime. I'm using my Glitterbell's dehydrator and my Glitterbell's acid-free primer. You only need to put this on the natural nail and not on the tip. And then I'm going to do a clear layer. So I'm going to use my Glitterbell's glass slippers and my number 10 brush. And I'm just applying a really thin layer of this on the natural nail, and I'm going down and fading it into that tip. And that way I can file the tip without discomfort. So after all of the nails have been applied their clear base, now I'm coming back to her first hand and I'm just filing the clear base super thin, fixing up the sidewalls and shaping the tip. I wanted it to be nice and pointy, but we needed it a little bit shorter because these ones were a little bit too long for her nails, so I just shortened them a little bit. And the file I'm using is the metal board that you can get from Glitterbell's and the refills on top. This file is super awesome. I'm so glad I got to try it. Everybody's been raving about it, and I was like, yeah, how is it any different? But it is. It's super nice. It makes your sidewalls nice and straight because the file can't bend because it's metal, so it's awesome. Now I'm just dusting off the nails, and I'm going to cleanse them before application. So I'm getting rid of all that extra dust around the cuticle area and underneath the nail as well. So now I'm coming in with Glitterbell's Pinkerbell Shear. So this is a nice transparent pink. It's perfect for rose quartz nails. And then I decided instead of Snowdrop's White to use Snow Satin because it has a shimmer to it And when you kind of pull it down the nail, it gives that kind of shimmery effect, which I thought would look really cool in a rose quartz design. So I just double dipping every single time into the Tinkerbell sheer first, and then I go into the snow satin right after, and I pick up a little bit more, and then as you can see, I can kind of put it down on the nail, and the snow satin kind of melts into the Tinkerbell sheer, which is going to give me more of that quartzy look. So we got a new glitter in from Glitterballs called Unicorn Crush. Isn't it amazing? Oh my god, I love it so much. I had to use it in this design. I didn't really want a lot of glitter in this design because I didn't want to take away from my rose quartz look, but I absolutely had to use this. So I'm just applying a little bit of that on the nail, not too much and no specific pattern. So I'm just repeating the process on her other nails. So this is such an easy design, you literally cannot screw it up. The fun part about this design too is it is a layered look. So first I'm going in with this, and then at the end I'm gonna do more layering with some art inks. I've showed you guys this technique before, but we'll go through it again. And that way it's gonna look really, really layered and really, really pretty. So I posted this on my Instagram and my Facebook, and one of my other clients loved it so much, she asked if we could do it the same but in amethyst, like a purple design. So I'm gonna record that as well, so you guys will see this kind of similar design come up soon as well, but in purple, so it'll be really cool. I'm really excited for that. After I've got that layer down of my mixture of Tinkerbell sheer with the snow satin, now I'm coming in and I'm just applying Tinkerbell sheer over top of all that, and that'll give it kind of more of that rose quartz design look and a more layered look. So I'm just going over top. This is not my encapsulation layer. This is just a thin layer that's gonna go over top of the whole nails. But you could encapsulate with Tinkerbell sheer if you wanted to, because it is a core powder, but I just prefer to encapsulate with clear. So I'm just applying my Tinkerbell sheer, and then I'm gonna encapsulate over top. After I've applied my layer of Tinkerbell sheer, now I can encapsulate the nails. So I'm just coming in with that glass slippers again, and I'm applying it near the cuticle area, and then I'm using my brush to drag it down the nail. And I'm trying to encapsulate everything and cover the whole tip and everything. So I find when I'm doing stilettos with tips, I sometimes don't apply enough product at the very tip of the tip, and then it snaps. So I've learned this over the years that you have to apply a little bit extra right at the very tip. When nails are this long, sometimes I find you can't really do a full one bead method, so I do have to go in with a couple beads, and I'm using the clear here to also build up my apex for strength. So I make sure to look at the nails from a few different angles to make sure that everything is covered. So I was checking here and I didn't think it had enough clear at the very tip, like I said, so I applied a little bit more. So it's better to just apply in as many beads as you need and get a full coverage and your apex instead of just trying to do a one ball method, because you might make the nails a little bit too thin and you don't want your clients to have breakage. So make sure you apply an apex and get everything fully encapsulated, and then when you finish file, you can really refine your shape. So after I've encapsulated all the nails, I take a good look at them from a few different angles. like I said, and then I double check to make sure that I have the right amount of clear on. So here on 2 of the nails, I still thought the tips weren't thick enough, so I applied a little bit more of that clear acrylic on the tips, on the ring finger and on the pointer finger, just to make sure they're nice and strong. After I encapsulated, I'm just going to go ahead and finish file these nails. So I tried to apply it really, really thin and exactly how I want them. So I don't need to do a lot of debulking. I'm just using this carbide bit here. It's a safety bit. I use this one all the time. I love this one. And I'm just going around the side walls and the cuticle area. And then I do most of my finish filing with a hand file. So I am using my metal board here to finish file. So I'm doing the side walls, and then I'm going to use this over the whole nail and really smooth it out, even it out, make sure there's no dips or ridges or anything. And then I'm also shortening them a little bit more because they were super pointy and she doesn't want to ruin all her Lululemons. So I made sure to get rid of that extra sharp point. Then I'm switching to a buffer and I'm just buffing the side walls and the very pointy tip as well. And then dusting off the nails and cleansing them. Okay, so the next step in this layered design is to apply matte top coat before your art inks. So I'm just applying the Luminary Nail Systems matte, and this dries tack free, so you don't need to wipe it or anything. So I'm just applying this on all the nails, and then I'm going to give that a cure before going in with the art ink. So I'm coming in with the number 13. This is the white art ink from Apres. And I'm coming in and I'm just doing the technique I learned from my friend Talia from Talia's Nail Tales. She did this technique on a rose quartz design, and I've already showed it in a video recently where I did like a marble layered look on gel polish. So it's super simple. All you do is dip it into the art ink, wipe off most of it, and then just one line across the nail and then overlap it. And if there's any thick pieces, you're just gonna come in with the blending fluid and a small brush and just fix up and blend out that line just so it's not harsh or anything. So you can see I got some harshness on this one, so I'm just blending it out. Super easy, you cannot screw it up. Unless you apply too much, of course. So just make sure you wipe off most of the ink off the brush and then just do one swipe across. Super easy, but it gives such a nice effect and it totally gives that rose quartz effect. So shout out to Talia for teaching me that. So now after that, I'm coming in with the Beamy Beauty Box Rose Gold Leaf, and I'm using my Get Buff Nails Brienne brush. And I'm just dipping that in and I'm doing a line surrounding the whole set. And oh my God, I'm so glad I did this. I thought we both thought that it just made the design just extra special. It just made it pop and finish the whole set. So the Beamy Beauty Box metal leaf gels are so easy to hand paint with. I usually hand paint with them a lot more than most things, not only because it's so pretty, because they look like little foil beautifulness, but it's also super easy to use. So if you guys are trying to practice doing straight lines and stuff like this, maybe go ahead and get the Beamy Beauty Box metal leaf gels and practice with those first, and then the more you practice with those, the better you'll get at doing line work, and then you can start switching over to solid gels for line work and stuff. So these are so easy to use, so that's what I was doing. So I'm basically just dipping in my Get Buff brush into the metal leaf, and then I'm wiping it off and just making sure there's no thick chunks or anything on my brush. So it's just like one solid amount of product on my brush, and then I'm just wiping it on the nail and kind of going over it over and over until it smooths out. So I did do each nail one at a time. So I did her pinky, had her cure it, did the pinky on her other hand, had her cure it, then the ring finger. So this took me about an extra 10 minutes or longer to do this design part, but it was totally worth it. So after that's been full cure, now I'm just talking to her about crystals. So I really wanted to use my rose water crystals, these huge ones. So I'm applying a bunch of the Ugly Duckling Shtick-It. So I'm gonna push these giant gems, these giant crystals into that Shtick-It. So that should hold them a good few weeks. So I find the Shtick-It's nice to use when you're using huge gems because you can kind of play with them and smush them into it, and you can move it around before you decide to cure it. So that's why I'm using that. And the gems I got here are from Blue Streak Crystals, and I do have a video up recently of a haul of all the stuff you can get from Blue Streak. So I will link that in the top corner. So I got her to cure that, and then I went in and adding more. And I'm just using the Shtick-It, and I'm using some white opal crystals. So I love these little beads, so I had to add a little bit of the beads in as well because they just make the design look like jewelry, and they're rose gold, so they'll match the design as well. So I gave that a cure and repeated that on her other hand. Now I'm coming in and I'm applying more crystals on her pointer finger. So this one's more of a flat crystal and it doesn't stick up, but then I'm just applying more crystals around it and some of those beads and making it look like a really pretty accent nail. You can see the top of my hair in this. Sorry, guys. How pretty is that? So I got her to cure that. And then I applied some of my Glitter Bells base glue on a palette here. I'm just coming in with a little brush and I'm applying the base glue around the big crystals just to make sure that they're extra secure. Now I'm coming in to top coat these nails, and I'm using my Glitter Bells No Wipe top coat. This is my favorite top coat. It's so shiny. So I'm applying this over the whole nail. I'm trying to make sure to get around the side where the beamy metal leaf is, because you don't want to not, cover that and then have it be sticky and get fluff on it and stuff. And then you're not going to want to get your top coat on your crystals, just around them. And you can use a small brush to get to the top area around the crystals at the very cuticle area. And you can get top coat on the little beads. That'll help them stay even longer, but just don't get it on your crystals. So I went ahead and gave that a full cure. And here is the finished design. I absolutely love this set. I thought they turned out exactly what I had envisioned. I love the layered look. I thought they turned out really quartzy looking. They just turned out perfect. I love them so much. I hope you guys really like this set as well. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're already subscribed. And if you're not, please subscribe. Click the bell next to it to be notified when I post. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.